to the Chanel S channel. I'm back. It's me, Chanel S. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. By the title, you guys already know what it is. So let's just jump right into it. We are going to talk the frustrations and challenges when trying to find a home in Jamaica, especially if you are a girly on a budget like I love to budget. Any of you guys that have watched my earlier videos from the beginning know this. And house hunting in Jamaica and what that's like from my perspective as a voluntary contributor not born in Jamaica. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned. More is coming on the NHT update, July 1st, 2025. I think this is big, especially for the individual applicants who are having a hard time finding quality homes for the 7.5 million that was recently announced last year, because let's be real, it's not possible to find a decent home for that amount. The market is changing and the market is hot, and this is great news. As of July 1st, individual applicants will be able to now access 9 million. That is a huge jump from 7.5. Of course, we still have a long way to go because you cannot realistically find any homes, especially if you are a family starting out, a young family at that. But I think it's a start in the right direction, thanks to the Honorable Andrew Holness. 2 applicants will now be able to access 17 million, and 3 applicants, 23 million. That's huge, guys. Also, I just want to mention that the home builder's loan has been increased to 11 million. Let's get into something that was never done before. Contributors making 30,000 per week or less will now be able to enjoy lower processing fees of 2%. And of that 2%, now NHT homes will be capped at 14 million. And if you are finding a home on the open market, because realistically, even though we would love it, NHT cannot build homes for everyone because the demand is so high. If you find a home under 14 million, the deposit required will only be 2% on the open market. That's a huge decrease from the original 5%, because we all know it's even hard to find homes that the developers will give you it for that 5% and have a deposit of only 2% is amazing. And that is mandated across the board. Just to reiterate, not only will deposits be mandated to 2%, but so will the interest rates and processing fees for processing loans, especially with the banks. And there will be a service charge reduction for people looking for homes on the open market of 2%. I think that's amazing. And as usual, the same applies, that if you are making less than 30,000 per week, you can process your NHT loan application at the NHT in-house, so you do not have to bother with the large banks. And I know that's a selling point for a lot of minimum wage earners. Also, I think a notable mention is that the expanded home grants now are accessible for those that are making 30,000 a week. Now you do not have to make 15,000, because minimum wage of 30,000 still puts you at risk, and I think you are still vulnerable. So I think that's great, because it gives a higher number of people the opportunity to access the home grant. And I think as a voluntary contributor, I am still so excited for those in Jamaica that this affects the most. The government has done a great job in looking out for you guys in this way. In addition to the income limit being increased to 3.5 million, that is amazing. That is a huge jump. That will be the difference for a lot of you and help you guys really make your house a home. 3.5 can really be the difference between quality homes, and the prices of materials and building and workmanship is increasing astronomically. And I think this is a great step in the right direction for housing in Jamaica. Also, this hasn't changed, but for all my new followers in Jamaica and in the diaspora since my revamp, I think it's important to mention that I am a person with a disability, and the disability grant still stands. I wish there was an increase, but I am so happy that this is something that is still in place, because I think a lot of times disabled Jamaicans particularly get left out of the conversation, and this ensures that you guys still have a chance at receiving a grant from the NHT along with your loan amounts. Quickly, just to run down the list, the Smart Energy Grant has been increased to 1.5 million, and this includes private pensioners as well, so you guys will be able to access this. You do not have to be a public sector worker. Smart energy loans also have increased from 1.5 to 2.5 million at an interest rate of 0% to 5%, depending on where you fall on the income band spectrum. Also, NHT is working to provide specific home solutions for not only public sector workers, but healthcare workers as well, because you guys are so important. Without health, we have nothing. And being a health sciences student, I can attest that this is a great thing. Without our workers and NHT contributors in good health, the economy crumbles, and that is just a fact. NHT is looking out for people in healthcare. If you are making less than $30,000 per week, you can process your NHT loan application at the NHT in-house, so you do not have to bother with the large banks. And I know that's a selling point for a lot of minimum wage earners. Also, some quick little tidbits before I forget. Mortgagers who use their NHT benefits for properties outside of NHT schemes can now use their refunds towards their mortgage payment, particularly the principal, which we all know reduces your monthly payments, but also shortens your mortgage. And who wouldn't love to finish paying off their mortgage 5, 10, or even 15 years earlier, especially since this goes towards the principal as opposed to the interest. So you are actually paying off the total cost of your home by way of the contribution refund. That is a big news. The time to use the NHT improvement loan has jumped from 10 years down to 5. So now you no longer have to wait a whole decade to make some well-needed and well-deserved improvements to your home. I just want to clarify, NHT contributors buying homes for 14 million or less will be able to receive 12 million from the NHT. Same thing if you are working under the 30K, which is minimum wage. Your deposit for your overall home on the open market has been decreased from the standard 5%. Now the standard is only 2%. That makes it easier for you guys to save for your home and doable. You know that I think scheme units are a good idea, but realistically, not everyone will have one because the need is great, and there are a lot of people that need homes more than what the NHT is able to facilitate. Throw partner. You don't have to throw partner with somebody else and just hope that they do the right thing and don't run out with your money. I have a partner with the bank, not to get too personal, and anytime I want to withdraw and not bother with it, you can do that. High yield savings account, where the bank pays you for putting in your money on top of what you save. There are plenty of options. I know for a lot of us, I know it was for me for a long time, The NHT is the only savings that some of us will know. Don't think that I am exempt from that, because I am. Born overseas, I struggled financially for a long time. That was my story. But I started saving here and there, $5, $10. Every miko makes a muckle, as my Jamaican mother would say. And save those deposits. Don't rely on your NHT contributions alone. If you have a salary, you can squeeze $1,000, $500, $200, $100 every week, every 2 weeks, and I promise you, the journey might be long. You might not get that house in 3 years, in 5 years. It might take you a while to save, but we can do this. I want you guys to win, and as I say on this channel, we do not gatekeep, especially hearing the horror stories. I am so fearful of being taken advantage of building, but this is the way for me, as daunting as it is. I am scared, but I am ready. I really want this. Generational wealth and having something to pass down to my daughter is important to me, particularly being that I am a single mother, and it stops at me. I have the weight on my shoulders, and I accept the challenge willingly, but in 2025, I vowed to stop wasting time. I am scared of unreliable workmen. I am scared of getting robbed. I am scared of spending time and money only to have my project messed up and I have to start from the drawing board continuously. It's happened. I've heard the stories. I know you guys have heard the stories. I know there are honest construction workers, particularly in Jamaica. It's just to weed them out against all the bad ones. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to put them below. I'm all ears, and I'm sure others would love some suggestions, because I can't be the only one who wants a home, but the home journey might just have to look a little different. I might have to get my hands dirty, because buying into the standard gated community, even though that was my dream, particularly because I don't live in Jamaica and securing my property is important to me. You know, I don't want to come back and have squatters or have people moving into my property, and that happens when you do not have that added security of a gated community. But I think I just have to get over that perception. Jamaica is beautiful, and I've seen some really great homes on the open market, but because of that risk, I thought that it had to be a gated community, not because the only beautiful homes are ones in the gated communities, because if I lived in Jamaica full time and I wasn't only just vacationing there due to the fact that I'm a full-time university student and I have a daughter that goes to school out here, I would buy just a regular home. No need to be gated. There are some beautiful ones. Trust me, don't miss out on a beautiful home because you guys are waiting for something gated, but simply because I won't be in Jamaica and have the flexibility to visit as often as I would like. That is a deal breaker to me. But instead of having the home already built, it is important, but unrealistic right now. I might just have to get a piece of land in a gated scheme. I know those are harder to find, but where there's a will, there's a way. If finding a home under 25 million isn't in the cards, and at this point I don't think it is, I'm starting to let that go, but it's a hard realization. But just gotta change focus, but the vision is still there. I know I can build my house the way I want it. There are some perks, but that doesn't alleviate the fear nonetheless. But I'm so excited. Let me know if you guys have any tips and tricks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss when I upload. See you in the next video. Bye. Yeah.